Good evening, everyone. Now, I'm just going to wait till a few people jump on. I'm certainly not seeing any comments as such as yet. So I will wait till a few people jump on. Welcome back to everybody. Welcome back to myself. For those of you who don't know, I have been away for a couple of weeks. I was rushed in for emergency surgery, and that wasn't very pleasant. However, I had to do as I was told, and it was certainly an experience, and probably one that I really don't want to go through again. I'm sure that I won't go through it again, considering they took out the appendix and there was a massive abscess beside it, where they say to me that my entire body was almost septic and everything was about to rupture. So pretty scary there for a while. Really scary there for a while. But anyway, I am back on board. Doctor's very happy. So yeah, so a bit of fun and entertainment had in the hospital. Probably not, considering when I was going into surgery, I actually was lying on the table. I was a bit freaked out, and my beautiful friend Danina and a few others already know this story, but I'm lying there and seriously freaking out, and my nan, God rest her soul, she came in behind the anaesthetist assistant, and the curtains moving, and my nan is always really, really good with me because she's one of my main spirit guides, and she just had this look on her face that was just, and I instantly thought, excuse my French, but I instantly thought, she's here to take me. And it felt like about 10 minutes, but then she finally smiled, and lights were flickering in the bloody theatre, and everyone's saying, oh my God, are you psychic? Because this is going crazy. And yeah, so I knew then, once she smiled, I actually knew then that I was in good hands, and she wasn't there to take me at all. She was there virtually to guide me through, knowing that, that obviously I'd been, very frightened. But anyway, we're all back to norm. Well, pretty much back to norm. So I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for your patience and waiting for me to come back to my lives. I have missed them terribly, like you have no idea, because everybody knows this is my passion. So yeah, so when I'm not doing what I love the most, of course it gets to the effect that, I miss it, and I really do miss it. And I'm just going through and I'm just punching up like a few of the comments on the screen. So thank you everybody for joining. I have some wonderful people here already on board. Hello to Vicky Licious, one of my all-time favorites from Psychic TV, who used to write in there. And yeah, she's a beautiful girl. Nita, thank you so much for joining. Paul, Stella, Donna, and Melissa, Margarita, and Megan's popped up a long question, which I'll get to shortly. Marion, it's wonderful to have on board with me watching tonight some of the psychics that I work with and admire. And so thank you, Marion, for jumping on. Appreciate that. Troy, another one of the PTV fans, long-time friend. So thank you. So yeah, it's really nice to see everybody. Like it's just really, Margarita, look at you. We missed you. That is so nice of you to say. Thank you so very, very much. You know what? And you guys are just extraordinary. You really are. So I'm pleased to be back too, Lola. It's been a bit of a rough ride, but these things happen, unexplained. Glad it's over, But yeah, we're all back on board. So I'm just going to scroll back up at the top because I'm sure, apart from all the hellos, I've already missed a couple of questions. Look, I know we're already 5 minutes into it, and you're all going guns blazers with your messages. So thank you so much. Megan Scott here. I won't pop it on the screen because it'll take the whole screen probably, and I'll come back. Oh no. Hi, Mr. I've done a lot of inner work recently, and I'm in a much better place spiritually and mentally, but still stuck on what's my next move. Would love to know what you see coming up for me in the next 6 months or anything else coming through. No problem, Megan. I will ask also to everybody if they can be live feeds are, how can I say this? Full readings can do a general, no problem, because we, have half an hour, we have an hour, things like that. Live feeds, like it'd be really good for questions to be like quite direct, because otherwise it takes up a lot of time. Okay, Megan, let me come to you in the sense of, I know you have been doing some work on yourself, and it's really, really important that you keep that up. However, there seems to be something that you're not, in the work that you're doing on yourself, there's just something that you're missing. It's something that and look, I mean everything with the greatest respect with everybody. Like, don't anyone ever get offended in what I say, because I do say everything from my heart and with the greatest respect. But it seems like you're missing a piece of the puzzle. Now, when you can find that piece and put it together, virtually your whole world opens up. And I can't honestly tell you what it is, because you're the one with the desire and the thoughts in your mind. Now, does that make sense? So I want to say to you that even on your work front, bit higgledy-piggledy, bit of a misunderstanding going on there, but you walk away with things and you really take it to heart. And again, as I say, I mean that with the greatest respect. But when you take it all to heart, it's almost like that missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle jumps out every single time. And this is why you can't kind of put everything together. I will ask maybe that in your work that you're doing on yourself, to really come in and focus on what your passion truly is. Because when you understand what your passion really is, that's the direction that you will be shown in where you need to go from that point forward. Okay, so I know that sounds like it's not maybe as direct as what I would normally do, but in hindsight, in 6 months' time, you will be in a better place if you come back to focusing on what you're passionate about, because that is the real little niche there. When we manifest things, if we just sort of say to the universe, do you know what, I want a partner in life, the universe just gives you whatever, and it may not even suit you because it's not being specific. So in your meditations, in your work on yourself, start looking inside yourself to find out what you're really passionate about. I mean, I know without doing this in the last few weeks or 3 weeks, like I was kicking myself. I was going crazy because I wasn't doing what I love. So I really miss that part of me. So Megan, if I can just ask you if you could do that sort of thing and then see how you go with it. If you don't notice a change, please get in contact with me, because I feel that you will feel that change in the way that you are working on yourself. And that way, that will let me know that you're actually doing the right things throughout your meditation and so forth. So that would be awesome. So really, really good there. I get a really good feeling about it, Megan. I don't have anything. Negative inside there at all. Okay, I'm going to jump on to Vicky. Vicky, will your finances improve? What I want to say to you is that you are. So I've just drawn some cards now. I'm looking down at those. So excuse me for looking down. But I want to say to you that you're in a place now where you're far more stable than what you have felt for a very long time. And that's really exciting, because when your mind and your body and everything feels that there's stability around you, you think more clearly, you focus more, and you have more clarity about you. I do want to say though that in current situations, you've been drawing on the little bit that you had put away. That will stop very, very soon. And I know you put something away for a rainy day for holidays and things like that as well. But you did have to kind of delve into it a little bit, not necessarily as much as what I think that you thought. But have a good look around you, and again with respect, it's not about making everything pretty or dynamic straight away. There's times when you can go through some boxes. I'm being shown boxes that are kind of haven't been touched for a very long time. There seems to be something in those boxes that you can get out and you can use, and you don't have to buy anything else, if you know what I mean. So and I'm not talking about just material things. I'm talking about like constructive things. There seems to be that there. So I know you don't spend a lot of your money regardless, but it's still a bit about holding a bit more back before you utilize it to use for something else. And I virtually see for you, I don't see it before Christmas, I have to be honest. But after Christmas, things sort of start to pick up with you again. And I feel that there's, it's not necessarily a win of such, but it's a win on the work front, because work hasn't been your friend for a while. And I just think those things are changing. And it's actually time to really start putting your fingers out there to see what's about, because everything's been, of course, very, very quiet with COVID. Nothing's been moving in the right direction as such. So it's now time to have a bit of a look around, and something will pop out. I keep getting told after Christmas, but virtually just the day or two after Christmas, things pop out. So when things pop out, you need to be ready to be already looking, and virtually jump on that. So I hope that helps you. Vicky, let me know how you go. Guys, I am doing people in order because I think that's fair. So if you've commented like way below that I haven't got to yet, I will get to you at some point. I'm just scrolling down myself. I've got Sue, I've got Erica, Kylie, Scott, Teresa, Paul, and Renee, Lee, Sash, Jackie. My goodness, there's so many of you. As I said, I will go down the list because I think that's fair, and I will get to everybody as soon as I can. So I hope everybody bears with me, and it's really, really awesome that you're all here. So, so I'm so happy to be back. If any of you guys want to like and share the actual Mystical Mystique Live TV page anywhere, so if anyone hasn't joined us here tonight on this page, they will get the benefit of maybe watching it tomorrow or whatever else, and whatever we're talking about tonight, just may help somebody else in need. That's how I like to share things, and I just think that's lovely with us sharing it with as many people as we can, so everybody gets something out of it. Okay, that would be awesome if you could do that. So Nita, anything on my love life? You've been a little bit I don't want to really go, I don't want to sound risque, but you've been rather quiet on that front for a while, and I don't want to air all that because you know what I'm talking about. However, the cards I drew out, I have to have a bit of a giggle to myself, because it tells me that your life in general is in limbo, but it tells me that there's passion that's already there. So I want to say to you that and I have to pull that back a little bit by virtue saying you're passionate about finding love, but I have to be honest and say you haven't been looking in the right areas. But also too, with COVID, there's no real areas to look right now, and that's being perfectly honest in there. But there, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there seems to have been some issues when you were younger that either people didn't take you seriously, or people kind of used and abused your good nature, and therefore you felt like you had to be a people pleaser. And that's with male and female friends. But it seems like the more you were a people pleaser, the more words were spoken to you that were unkind, if that's the way I want to say that. So I need you to kind of bear that in mind in adulthood, that you don't always have to be a people pleaser. And there is a lot of people that fall into that trap, more so ones that have been bullied at school and things like that when they were younger. But it just seems to me that there was more than that went on. And if you want to talk to me privately about that, that's all very well and good, because it's not until you kind of fix that part of you that you will actually be able to offer someone your heart fully, if that makes sense. Because when we're sort of carrying a bit of old, if we've still got that, we actually can't give our hearts so lovingly as what we'd like to, or actually what we actually think that we're doing. So if I sort of walked up to someone, and if I was in your shoes and I said, you know what, I'm falling in love with you, I would only actually be giving them about about 80% of my heart, because there's just a little bit of something that's still inside you that is from past. So I hope that makes sense to you. It will improve. Your love life will improve, but certainly, like, everybody virtually has to wait till COVID is way out of the picture and it stop being on the news and that, because how can anyone, like, in all seriousness, how can anyone expect to meet and embrace a partner when there's limitations? Or, do you want to walk up to someone and give them a kiss and a cuddle? You don't know where these people have been. You don't know their family. You don't know where how many people they've been associated with. You don't even know if they've had it or not and they've got better. Like, these are all sorts of new questions that are going to come into our way of living and our way of or the single people's way of trying to date. So I want you to bear that in mind when I say to you that I don't see your love life improving before Christmas. I actually don't see a spark till about June next year. And yes, I'm brutally honest, but it's also impossible to virtually happen. Do you know what I mean? So in all seriousness, have a little look at you in why there's that feeling from past. And if you can't shift that, contact me and we can work on that, because then that frees your heart up to be very open and very honest and being able to give someone, your full heart. Does that make sense? So Nita, I hope that I hope that helps you, and I hope that you take it on board with the respect that I give to you. Stella, you're. Oh, hospital was, look, I have to say, the surgeon was absolutely brilliant. I did Google him afterwards, and I found out that he was this head specialist trauma doctor that, even goes overseas and looks after Australians that are, caught up in trauma situations. So, I was lucky enough to have one of the best, but, the nurses were lovely, but I don't know being in hospital either. But anyway, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. I'm so glad I'm up and back as well. So, AG, thank you. Hello to you. Erica, hello. Nina. Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. I mean, I kind of yelled at my nan to say, don't you do that to me again. If you do, please don't take as long, because she just, it was just that instant. I was anxious about going under anesthetic because I've never had good experiences about going under. And I guess in her loving and maybe her quirky nature, she just thought she'd come by, but she was just quiet for too long without smiling. So that kind of freaked me out a bit. I thought she was there to take me. But, so funny when all the lights and that were flickering and the surgeon's kind of going, what's going on here? A lady said, oh, I know you. You're psychic, aren't you? And then she's like, well, who's here? I'm like, everybody, my nan's here. It was an extraordinary experience. But yeah, fun. Thank you, Marion. Gorgeous. Okay, Megan, I've answered your question. Margarita, thank you so very much. This is, you guys, I don't want to cry on camera, but you might be you might all be wanting me to cry. I don't know. Anyway, Joan, oh, thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Donna, my emotions are overwhelming. May I have guidance for this week, please? And thank you, Donna. With all due respects, I want to say there's a lot of people where their emotions are going crazy, because we have a retrograde that's going on, and it will be going on until, from memory, I think it's the 18th or something of November. And any of my psychic friends that are on board tonight, they will know as well as what I do. And you don't even have to be psychic for this to be happening, but everyone's sleeping patterns are all over the place. And I mean, like, so all over the place, and really vivid dreams, really crazy dreams. And it's throwing a few people into turmoil. But what I want to say to you, Donna, there's how can I say this? With you, I feel that even prior to COVID happening, it's like you're already upset with something. It's like someone did you wrong, and I want to say to you, virtually only about a month before COVID hit, that it seems like somebody wronged you. And then when COVID hit, those emotions got tougher, they got harder, it got harder to solve, that sort of stuff. And to me, it was almost like, because you weren't allowed to do certain things or weren't allowed to go many places, it seemed like you bottled some of that up because you didn't know who to talk to be able to release some of that. So I want to say to you that some of your emotions are actually trapped. So again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like up here, there's like, instead of like sometimes when we're freaking out and we've got 10 things going on in our head, with you it seems to be like about 20 things going on at once, all up here. And every time you go to put your head down in bed, it just all goes crazy. And in saying that, it's like you lay there going, oh my God, like, how can I sort all this out? What I want to say to you is, please sit up at that point. Go and make yourself a cup of tea, not coffee. Go and make yourself a cup of tea. Get a notebook out. Write all these things down so they're out of here and they're at least on board on something where you can look at them one at a time. When you look at these things one at a time, you can embrace each problem or each issue or each little hurdle, whatever you want to call them. You can embrace them one at a time. And up here is not so scattered. It's not so crazy. It's not so, oh my God, like, how do I sort all this out? Because when you have so much going on in your mind, you can't focus on things. You lose clarity and you just kind of feel like you're stuck and you don't know how to get out. And so that's what I want to say to you there. You can resolve all of these. And I have no doubt in you. If you're stuck, give me a yell. But it's like when you write them down, and I don't want to minimize anything that's going through your thought pattern, but when you write them down, they don't seem as big and as scary as what it is altogether in here. Does that make sense? Because while all this is totally unbalanced, the negative side of the subconscious is coming in at night and it's throwing further curveballs at you. And those curveballs are mixing with already what's in there that you're trying to solve and trying to get through. And that's actually making all the situations far worse, even though the situations haven't changed. Okay. So if that helps you, but yeah, you do need to kind of be like strict with yourself. And when it all goes on, and even if it happens when you're awake, just sit up, make yourself a cup of tea, virtually say to yourself, stop, and get out a notebook and write them all down. Okay, because once you start writing them down, things will get a whole lot better, because you won't be so overwhelmed. Yeah, just you just won't be so overwhelmed. Because to me, it's 20 problems become 50 very, very quickly. Okay. And that it's too much for you to deal with, way too much for you to deal with. So write them down and sort them through one at a time, and you will be far better off. Okay. So now I've just lost where I am. So bear with me for a second. Danina, I saw that you jumped on. Danina, she's my little godsend right now. She probably thinks, oh my God, every time she lives in Wollongong, she's a fellow psychic and a beautiful psychic. But, she comes to Sydney and wants to spend time with me. And twice recently, we end up in the hospital. So don't you do it a third time to me. But yeah, she's a beautiful soul. She helped me through my anxiety with it, and because she knows I'm a bit of a pain in the neck in the hospital. However, we turned up all glam because we were that particular Friday we were staying at the Q station at Manly with ghost tours and all sorts of things, and we were doing a live, or we were going to do a live out of the Q station, and yeah, we were all dressed up, all ready to go, and bang, Robin goes to hospital. Well, quite glamorous going to hospital. If that helped the doctors decide, I don't know. Anyway, enough of that. Lola, you want a reading on romance as well? Okay. I'm going to sound really horrible when I say romance is wonderful, but because of COVID, a lot of us aren't coping without romance. A lot of us aren't being able to go out to places that we love to go out to. We're not embracing how can I say it? We're not embracing being able to go out and mingle as such. And look, as of this weekend coming, and I believe next weekend, things will change. So in that change, it's now time to kind of go, do you know what? What can I do to embrace myself, to put out the right word? Do you know what I mean? With a lot of us that have, I mean, God, me myself, like I was on strong antibiotics when I came over from hospital, so strong that I wasn't even allowed to sit out in the sun for 10 minutes. Like, and not sitting out in the sun for the last like 4 weeks now has driven me insane, as much as it has been not being, here with you guys. So it's a part of us where the sunshine is normally healing for a lot of things. And with the warmer weather coming along too, it kind of makes us stop and think where we want to be in the warmer weather, but also to where do we want to go, where we can meet people, where we can socialize, where we can just maybe find a new place to have coffee. Because when you go to some places that are on a regular basis, especially if you go on your own, you don't always have to go with somebody, you can go on your own. I have no problem with going anywhere on my own. You sit there minding your own business, people will see you and people will look at you and go, oh, that lady was here the other day. Well, she looks a bit fascinating, doesn't she? I wonder what she's reading. You can be just looking at your phone, doesn't really matter. And I'm finding now, after like all this COVID stuff, people are coming back to the simple things in life. People are coming back to sort of saying, do you know what? I'm going to smile at everybody that walks past me today. I'm going to say hello to people that walk past me, because people have been indoors for so long. It's now time to come back to that normal. It used to be normal that you said hello to someone when you passed them in the street, and we all kind of forgot all that. Okay, now we're all coming back into that. Laura, I want to say to you, get yourself prepared. Whether it's a Friday afternoon, I keep getting drawn to Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, that you find a new little cafe and you start going there, because something's going to shift. You seem to be a little bit stuck. You seem to be a little bit, excuse the expression, but the word stale came through from spirit, because things haven't been upbeat for you. Things haven't been enjoyable. Things have come stalemate in your life. You need to go out and embrace it a bit more. You need to go, and what's that also other saying? Stop and smell the roses. Go out and enjoy just being in public. Go out and go for that walk. I've got another week before I'm allowed to do any of that. It's bloody antibiotics, but it's all good, because now I have something to really look forward to, and they're just simple things. But when you're told, like in COVID, we're all told we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't go here, we can't go there. Like, how frustrating is that? People didn't have a choice. And not having a choice means that you become stale. Okay, get out there. Turn some of the way you're thinking around, just so that you're going out there with a smile. You're going out there and actually thinking that you're embracing something new, because when you're thinking that, when you're feeling it, you have a different energy field around you, and that encourages more people to say hello, how are you, to work out that they're to work out that you're sitting there and reading a book or reading the newspaper or something to that effect. Okay, it's just something that you need to start doing. So I hope that helps you, and it's lovely to see you here. Okay, Joshua. Where are you coming from? I haven't seen your name before. I'm physically handicapped. When will I find my partner and marriage? Okay, date of birth 19th, 1985. If Joshi, if you've been actually watching the feed so far, you may have heard me already touch on romance and how things have kind of stalemated. It's like a few things under COVID, and I don't really want to keep using COVID as an excuse, but with COVID that hung around for so long and nobody was allowed to go anywhere or do anything, this has kind of stopped us as women embracing who we are, to go out and find a mate, or to go to places where, we can enjoy, whether it's music, whether it's a theatre, or whether it's even just a movie or whatever, where we can actually meet people. Like that sort of stuff has been gone by the wayside. So, it would be really crazy of me to say, you're going to find your partner next week. You're going to marry that person, in 6 months' time. Why? You're saying, oh, but you're psychic, you should know all this. Yes, I do know all this. However, under normal circumstances, it would be a different scenario. It would be when I see something in 6 months' time. It generally happens in 6 months' time. With COVID hanging around, if I say 6 months' time, it's pushing out to 1 year's time or 18 months' time, because we're being guided and stuck in situations that we don't like. So that's what I want to say there. But I also want to say to you, and I don't need to know, what your handicaps are, but it seems to me that you are in conflict with somebody. And I want to say that somebody in your home, somebody close by, that you are, and with respect, it's like that you are at loggerheads with this person more often than not. And every time you're at loggerheads, and I'm really hoping this part is not true, but Spirit keeps saying to me that when you're at loggerheads with this particular person, they do have a bit of a crack about you not being the same as everybody else. And that's really, really sad. And that makes me very, very angry. However, I want you to stop listening to that person. I want you to stop engaging with that person, because they have certainly no right to be speaking to you in that manner for a start. And I feel that you feel... and this has got nothing to do with your handicap, but it's like that you feel so trapped that you feel like that you have to engage with this person all the time. And the Spirit just keeps saying, find a way, find a different way of feeling free. And that comes through like, loud and clear, whether that is you get yourself lost in a book and put yourself in as the character, or you actually start writing a novel. Remove yourself where you can go somewhere and feel freer. And I know that sounds like quite bizarre, but Spirit is even saying that, even if you put yourself in a book for, like a couple of weeks, if you keep picking up that book and reading it and putting yourself in there, your persona about yourself and your thoughts about yourself actually change. And I mean that with the greatest respect. And because there's times that you look at yourself, unfortunately, and feel that you're a burden upon others, and you're not. You have the kindest of kindest heart. You will do anything for anybody. You help. I keep getting shown that you help children in some way. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I keep getting shown that you actually help children in their learning or something to do. Again, I still get the strong feeling of books. So it's all based around these books, whether it's teaching, whether it's you putting yourself into a novel, or you writing a novel yourself to start embracing who you are. Yeah. When you start embracing who you are, you start feeling a lot better about you. You then, when COVID kind of like, starts to really settle down, and it's hardly ever spoken about on the news and so forth, you start to go to different areas, and you start to be seen in public. You start to be seen as that wonderful woman who wants to embrace having a partner. And by then, so you will meet other people. Spirit is showing me two different people that seem to come your way. And what I want to say to you, at times, there seems to be outdoor park near you. There seems to be some sort of park that you used to visit, but you haven't been there for such a very long time. And that's regardless of COVID. There's something that's been stopping you going to that particular area. Spirit is saying, go back to there. Go back and to there and enjoy that scenery, because it's there that somebody will come and, start talking to you, and you'll start to strike up this friendship. That friendship needs to be first before that can turn into love, before that can turn into marriage. Yeah, marriage is a way off. And I don't mean that like disrespectfully at all. It's just that marriage is a bit far off for us to pick a date for that. So I hope that has helped you in some way, shape, or form. Please let me know, because yeah, it feels like it's it's your time to go on a journey, and yeah. it's definitely your time. So I hope that helps you, even if it helps you in a small way. Anything further, you might need to contact me. We can go into deeper. I've really missed you. I can't explain. Just have a thought of you lots. Oh, Stella, that is so nice of you. You're such a beautiful woman. You're such a every day you put up a feed where you take your beautiful dogs for a walk and things, and that starts your day off wonderful, but it also puts a smile on my face because my little bubby's not with me anymore, so I miss getting up and picking up after him and taking him for a walk and things like that. So it's beautiful. Damien, hello. I hope you're well. Adriana, she's gorgeous. Another fellow psychic who will be at the Royal Easter Show with us next year. We missed out this year because it got canned, but there's a few of us who, with Angel Trishelle, we go to Sydney Royal Easter Show. We have our own massive area in the Royal Psychic Reading Room, and there's a variety of us there every day, readings and all sorts of things. So it's a wonderful space. So all you guys in Sydney, look out for us in 2021 because we'll be back with a vengeance because we missed this year. But anyway, Melissa, I love a reading. And Marissa, I really would like, particular questions because generals are just too long on a live feed. But I do want to, okay. I do want to say to you that everyone has a drama. Everybody lately is having a drama, me included. Hospital was drama enough. That might be a pickup line I can say to someone, do you want to see my scars? Oh, that's shocking, isn't it? I'm a shocker. But, liven up a bit. Hey, do you want to see my scars? But, yeah, anyway, let me have a look. Melissa, there seems to be somebody around you that's I feel, because I don't think it's you, I feel that somebody around you and in close proximity, so it might be someone that you live with or somebody that sits actually quite near you or natters to you throughout the day at work, but it's like they're coming to your face every single day with a drama. Like everything is a drama. Every time every time something happens, there seems to be a drama. And what that does is it complicates everything for you because at times you don't want to say the wrong thing. Do you say nothing at all and you get questioned about why you say nothing at all? Or do you enlighten the other person with your knowledge? What I'm hearing is sometimes zip it because you're internalizing the other dramas of other people. Maybe if Janine is still watching, maybe I feel like that sometimes when I was in the hospital. I feel like that she was, taking on board my dramas for me. But in hindsight, you're internalizing it. And when you internalize it, you almost feel like it's your drama. So that kind of needs to stop. Yes, you have a kind heart, and yes, you would give that, people the shirt off your back, in any given moment. And I love that about you. But it's time that you started thinking about you, because there seems to even be a lot of things that you're doing that you don't get recognized for. And sometimes that's really frustrating for you. And when you're frustrated with that, then you seem to be a bit snappy. I hear that sometimes you're rather short and you're a little bit snappy. And doing that's going to create a drama in your life that actually wasn't there in the first place, if you understand what I mean. So maybe learning to stop taking on everybody else's issues and start kind of planning for yourself. Ask yourself, what you've truly missed throughout COVID. What haven't you been able to do that has kind of thrown you about 10 steps backwards? Because to me, once you start doing that again, you're kind of a happier person where you're actually not. You listen to other people, but when you've got your other stuff going on that you're really happy about, you don't take it on board as much. Does that make sense? And that way, you're free to kind of come and go as you please. But yeah, Spirit just keeps saying, stop taking on board everybody else's stuff. Start focusing on you. Start believing in you. Because when you believe in yourself and you do what you want to do, the world's your oyster. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to jump back onto you because I have to tell you, the person that's actually been telling me that is an older woman who seems to like pottering in the garden. She used to, I don't have anything here that can show you. It's like a little, probably only about, where's my screen? Probably only about this big. It seems like there's a little petite glass crystal vase, and I want to say to you that she sat in a particular chair and cut these little bits of flowers and brought them into this little vase every single day. It's almost like she changed that every time she went outside, enjoyed a bit of sunshine, came back in, like potted in the garden, came back in. I'm not sure if she's your grandmother, because she's not saying, oh yes, I'm the nan. She's virtually saying, you will understand who that is. So she's the one that's sort of saying you need to focus on you, and you're a good listener, yes, but don't take on board everybody else's stuff. So that's what she's saying. Thank you, Vicky, for sharing. Tony went through similar a few years back. Very frightening. Later feeling better. Thank you, Tony. It was a hell of a frightening thing. The pain, when someone said, describe the pain, I said, I don't know, childbirth. Childbirth is as good as anything to explain excruciating pain, isn't it? But, well, it's gone now. So, it will all be really good, really good. And I just feel so much better. I think I even have a new spring in my step, maybe. Maybe you did something else as well, who'd know. But anyway, it's all good. Now I've just lost my place again. Clarissa, can you come back to me with a particular question? And I will look out for it, and I will answer. Because generals are just kind of dragging on a bit too long. And I don't want to kind of keep doing that all the time. If you've got something that's really pressing, that's really, that you want to know an answer to, please shoot that. That'd be fabulous. Priya, hello, my love. You beautiful young girl. Keep shining. I try, Adriana, you know me. I keep shining where I can. Margarita, can you read me? Ask me a question. Margarita, ask me a particular question. If you were sitting in front of me, I'd spend an hour with you reading you. But please ask me a question. Have missed the episode. Yeah, I missed it there for a while too. I think I was boring. Although the hospital got a few laughs out of me, especially when my nan was mucking around with the curtains and so forth. That was a bit of fun. She embraced it. She embraced it rather well. Anyway, Tamara, welcome. If you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always lovely to get new people. Let me know where you're coming from. Okay, and I've also just seen that we have a troll. If anyone comes across that particular person, yeah, just get rid of it. And job or career. Okay, I want to actually say to you, Anne, that you're on the job front, and you know me, because I'm quite blunt with things. On the job front, things with you kind of suck in that direction at the moment. I actually want to say it really sucks, because it's like you give so much of you, and I say that with respect anywhere. Yeah, look, I just had to stop there for a minute, because I just had Spirit virtually jump in and say, at times you feel so, like you feel so undervalued. And do you know what? I have to be brutally honest and say, if you haven't started to look elsewhere, then you need to start, when I say pull your finger out, these are words that are coming from Spirit. They're not really my words as such, but it's like, pull your finger out, search in search engines, put different words than you would normally do, like, with respect, stop putting in the bland words all the time. Put something else in, put something else that you're excited about doing, or something else that you may have not ever touched before. Give something new a crack is what I hear. There's times when I think you've sat back for a while and kind of gone, I'm not qualified in a lot of areas, or I just have to look at the areas that I've done before, whatever. Break out into something new. Spirit is sort of like dancing, saying, try something new. Please try something new. So that's what they keep saying, because, and what I get in the cards is also too that, you'll be rewarded for doing something new. Stop being frightened of who you are. Start like putting the real you out there. All the times when we keep some of our personality back, or we keep some things hidden because we think, oh no, I better not say that, I'm too out there, people won't like me. Stop being a people pleaser. You know what, there's so many people I come across, and look, I did it many years ago. I always thought I had to be a people pleaser. I was a victim with domestic violence and all sorts of things, and when you go through that sort of rubbish, you really kind of get caught in a trap where you think that anyone who asks you to do something, you do, because you don't want to kind of be looked upon and go, oh, she doesn't want to do that. So you just do it, and then you fall in the trap of being a people pleaser. Stop. And there's no reason for you to be a people pleaser. Embrace that different side of you that you've been sitting back going, oh, I better not do that. Or someone might think I'm bad, or someone might say something. Do you know what? If people are going to talk about you, care factor now is 0. Other people don't pay your bills. You can be who you want to be. I was told I could never do TV because I was too fat for TV. Oh my goodness, if I had have internalized that, my first night on Psychic TV, I would have just frozen. No, and that came from a so-called family member. Do you know what? I said, hey, Psychic TV doesn't want me to get out there and sell exercise equipment. Psychic TV want me for what I can do. And this is what you got to start thinking about you too, There's too many of us, and this is a bit broad for everybody. There is too many of us that think we can't do something because it might upset someone else, or somebody else may not like it. Those days are gone. Seriously, life is too short. We are here. We are here to enjoy our time on this realm. And who is anybody to say that we can't? So, Anne, if you're looking for another job, please start looking in areas that you may not have looked at before because you're too scared about, taking that leap of faith. It's about time a whole lot of us on here took that leap of faith and we ran with it. Life is here to be lived. Please enjoy that, please. Okay. Margarita, I'd love to give you a reading, but can you give me something specific? Because generally if I spoke generally, we might be here all night. With you, I get there's, a multitude of opportunities around you, but I also get that, you've got trust issues. So can you please ask me a direct question? And I will respond as soon as I get that. That'd be great. Let me have a look here. Stacey. Hello, Stacey. Is there any messages coming through for me that would be so greatly needed and appreciated? Okay. Stacey, what I want to say to you is that you've been going through a really, really tough time. And I want to say that things have been rather complicated for you. But, and also I want to say that, part of my heart hurts with what's going on as well as. So, I'm sorry that you're not feeling 100% in that sense. Because I get that pain in my heart that something's that you hurt over something, but also too, like, part of me wants to say too that oh wow, this is this going to be the theme of the night, that you don't feel that you're worthy of finding like true love. Like I don't understand like why you would feel a little bit unworthy of yourself, because you're a beautiful soul. and I just pulled another deck out, and I can't find the, like, no need to worry, from my other deck. I just wanted to grab one of those because it just felt like that you were really stuck, and there's times when you don't know who you can talk to. But I want to say to you that you have a couple of friends around you, but one in particular, and it is a male. So I don't know whether you feel like this person is like a brother figure to you, or even like a distant relative. But you seem to be able to talk pretty openly with this person. Bounce some things off him, because it seems to be that it's not only going to come from me, but somebody that will get you to understand your worth, and get you to understand how with respect, how you've been looking at a couple of issues the wrong way. So an outsider looking in, I would say to you that a couple of issues that are going on, you've got too much emotion. It's too much emotionally charged. And when it's emotionally charged, you can't see the situation for what it really is, because you're pouring your emotions into it. And therefore, you're only seeing it in one way. Kind of take a step back, and how I teach people in situations like this is, when you take that step back, you look at the situation as if it's happening to somebody else, and think about how you would help that other person in that situation. That is the only way you can look at it from an outsider looking in, because otherwise, if you keep looking at it as your issue, all the emotions run too rampant with it. So I'm hearing that I feel that's got on. Your heart has been kind of a bit squashed in the meantime with it, as well as start looking at things, rather differently. Like, trust that person and able to have some decent conversations with. And if you can't, and you need someone that's definitely is that other person that looks at it from the outside, then contact me. We'll sit down and we'll nut some things out, because if you can't do that, it's like you can't take that step forward to be more happy in life, if that makes sense. So I wish you well on that. And Stacey, if any dramas, please just get in touch with me and let me know, and we'll work it out. Melissa, I did go through with you. Do you see that when I move home? Okay, work. I still have a question mark with you. Your where you work is going through a complete restructure, and I don't think they even know themselves where they're going to place certain people, because they're kind of looking at a couple of roles being able to change in a different way, because it's been changed under COVID. So to me, it's just like you're the CEO, and there's someone else too. There's like a CEO and someone else that comes in on the right-hand side of the CEO, seems to be having like a lot of discussions about what they'll actually do. So they haven't decided themselves yet. So therefore, work issues won't be answered at this point in time. I think you're looking at another few months for that, to be honest. And possibly, will it be just before Christmas? Geez, I'd hope so, but I'm getting the sensation that it's not. I'm getting the sensation that it's after Christmas, because people kind of want to. What I'm being shown is people kind of want to wait till that circle finishes as well, and kind of like start afresh for 2021. So that's what I get told there. Will you move home? You will, but I don't see that. I see changes will happen prior to that, but no, I don't see that until January, February. Actually, more February on that one. I don't see that happening beforehand. There seems to be some connections, or something that's not complete here before you're able to actually move home as well. So something is holding you here. Something is stopping you actually making the decision, or having the right amount of. It's not necessarily funds, but having the right amount of clarity on where you need to go and what you need to do if you move home. It seems to be coming back through spirit with that one. So I hope that helps you. That was a little bit confusing. Like, spirit was jumping on that one. Marianne, hope you're on the mend. I've had a stressful time recently. Okay. Marianne, have I done yours? You, my love, seem to be going through a lot of anxiety, and wondering what you should do. Excuse me. What I hear with you as to kind of control some of the anxiety is you need to decide. You need to start making some decisions about when and what you want to do and how you can actually pull that off. So it seems to be that things have been a little bit higgledy-piggledy with you, and you kind of go, do you know what, I'll just finish that, and I'll just go and do that, and I'll just be over here doing that, and I'll just go off and do that. So even with yourself, there's a lot of going here, going there, going here, and there's no direction. And anyone who knows me know that when I, talk like this, I say everything with the greatest respect. So please don't ever, none of you ever get offended about what I say, because I do say everything with the greatest respect, and it's also how it comes through from spirit. So it's about, you haven't been able to decide, what you really want yourself. And it's when you make that decision that things start changing for you, because, part of and I hate to say it, but part of the stress that you're suffering, you're bringing that on yourself, because when you're kind of in two minds about doing anything, or running here and running there and going off and doing there, and I think I'll go and do that as well as, because if I do that as well as, that will make me, even more intelligent, or, whatever the case may be. It seems to be that, you're so unsettled. So I kind of want to say to you, and I think I said something similar at the very beginning to someone, it's about finding what your true passion is, finding a home for what you want to do, finding that spark that, when you get up of a morning, you're going to go and do a good job, and you're going to go somewhere that you love, and where you're also going to be appreciated. Because I also feel with you that there's times in your life where you have felt like you've been left behind, if that makes sense. And I say that with the greatest respect. I don't want you to feel upset about that, because sometimes when I say that, people think, oh, well, I was kind of abandoned when I was a kid and nobody cared. And if that is the case, then work on that and understand that, it made you stronger. Because there's these little hiccups in your life that have gone through where you haven't quite gelled into why they've happened. And again, that's created all this, got to run off and do that, got to go over there and do that, got to go. And there's no set clarity, there's no set design about where you truly want to be. So I'm kind of asking, along with spirit, take some time out, like, take a weekend where you're just going to sit down with an empty notebook and just go through a whole lot of things that you actually enjoy, a whole lot of things that you love, and work out what's right for you and what makes you feel the best when you're writing it, and then start to follow that. It's when you start following things like that that you really start to go, you really start to work out where you need to be in life. So I think that's where, it's where you need to spend some time in doing. Okay, I've just seen we've got another hacker. Yippee doo-dah. People have just got no other bloody brains to do anything else but just hack everybody's live feed. Drives me insane. So yeah, if you see this idiot, and I don't often call people that, but they just annoy the crap out of me when they've got nothing better to do. If they actually spent time doing their own stuff, then they wouldn't need to go around hacking everybody else's pages. It just drives me nuts. Anyway, enough of me being that. Okay, now, where were we? Doctors, nurses, paramedics should be given gold medals for all the hard work they've been doing. Oh, absolutely, Damien. Look, I saw even, not that I've been living in a hospital, but even what I saw when I was in, they just don't stop. They really just don't stop. And in the real peak of COVID and in Melbourne and all that sort of stuff, what an almighty effort, people like that in the front line have done worked their asses off to the ground, been subject to some of it themselves, and some of it certainly, have caught it and all the rest of it. But yeah, I take my hat off to anybody. And then I used to work in a hospital myself, and actually, did a secondment and ended up looking after the deceased. It was right up, some people didn't even know what I did, and it was right up my alley because, I used to just, if I knew someone was passing, I'd go and give them a blessing and hold their hand and make sure that, their transition was lovely and beautiful, and if their family was there, I used to ask permission and so forth, and I used to get the family involved as well, and it was all very wonderful. But then I was told it's not your job description, and some people got a bit jealous about that, but that's shit happens in life. I always thought it was a beautiful thing to do myself, but yeah. Anyway, Tony, just moved to North Coast. Is it the right move? And you've just moved and you're asking that question? But serious side, what I want to say to you is I actually do feel it's a right move, but I also feel that not only mentally and financially, it's like it's the right physical move to do as well as. So I don't know if your body needs to be in a warmer climate as such, but Spirit is saying to me, like, I hope you have a the Spirit's getting very specific now. I hope you have a veranda. I hope you have a wonderful chair out on the front porch. If not, build a porch. I'm being told by Spirit. This Spirit is getting very cheeky. I love it, which is my dad. I've got my dad and my nan here tonight, and my dad is saying you need to have that special place, and he's showing me like a front porch, and he's saying if you don't have one and if you can't build one, then make a kind of area where you can take out some grass or something rather and build something rather in the front or the backyard, and have that as your special space, because it seems to be that you will spend some time out there. It seems to be that you will enjoy enjoy the scenery that you have around you. And I want to actually say I think it's towards the back rather than the front. If it's a porch, I think it belongs to the front. But if it's what my dad is saying about cutting the grass and making an area, I feel that's the back. But I also want to say to you that since you've moved, and please let me know or correct me if I'm wrong, but since you've moved, you've actually felt better, like within your own heart. There seems to be a lot more smiling going on since you've moved. I mean, I know it's hard yakka moving as such, but that's nothing to smile about. But it seems to be more comfortable. It seems to feel like it's a nicer area. You feel more comfortable in it, if that makes sense. And I actually want to say to you that I don't know if you do any art, but I'm being shown art. I'm being shown there's you either have a separate room where you can do this, or there's somewhere near towards the back of the home where you can actually, it's not drawing, it's more painting, because I see a brush. So it's not the drawing, even though your hand flows, it's not drawing, it seems to be a brush. So if that's not a hobby of yours already, please have a look at that, because Spirit is showing me that very clearly, that you're embracing that side of you that you didn't think you had. So yeah, welcome to the world of art. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. I hope you're well as well. Yeah, well, Joe, at first it didn't feel too good. I actually thought that my nan was here to take me, but but silly nan, or silly me for thinking that in the first instance. But I guess it was because I was so scared about going under, that when I saw her and her face wasn't smiling, I kind of went, oh shit, don't tell me it's my time. But she quickly corrected that, obviously, when I started to go in a bit of a panic mode. But anyway, yes, Tinker, what sleeping pattern? Look at this. And Debbie, sleeping pattern all over the shop. Absolutely, like there is so much going on with this retrograde that I mean, man, even my sleep, I don't sleep through the day. Yesterday I fell asleep for like an hour and 10 minutes in the afternoon, and I never do that, but I did. And do you think I could get to sleep overnight? No, no. Just for a lousy hour and hour and a bit in a chair, stuff me for the rest of the night. But everybody's sleeping pattern is just yuck. Yuck. And I don't have any good news on that front apart from we are at the end. We're only at the end of coming to the end of September, so we have October and up to about the 11th. I think it's the 11th. I can check that date a bit later. 11th of November with this retrograde. So we're all going to go through a hell of a time, and we're all going to be tired. It's my birthday in November. I've got to have a big one. I'm hoping I can celebrate somewhere and actually have a party because it is going to be a big one. Getting old. Getting older. Teresa, I did put your comment up, but I didn't even read it because I was too busy gibbering about a party. I said that, yes, I said that in jest a little bit early about, because everyone was saying such wonderful comments. So, sometimes I feel like that just brings a tear to my eye. So anyway, I try not to do that. Donna, I know you bottle everything up, but it's time. You got to stop that. It really is doing you more harm than good. The more you bottle it up, the more the subconscious goes, there's another thing I can grab hold of. And when I grab hold of that, then I can twist it and then I can turn it and I can make that issue bigger than what it already was. This is what the subconscious mind does. I've had years and years of training and studying, psychotherapy, holistic counseling, all sorts of things. And what the subconscious can do when we have a negative thought in our mind, it will escalate it. It will catastrophize it. So it becomes bigger than Ben-Hur, yet it hasn't changed. But in here, it's changed because we've catastrophized it. The subconscious goes, you beaut, give me another negative thought, and I'm going to run with that. Stop. If you know you bottle everything up, then tell yourself you're going to change, and you're going to change as of tomorrow. And any thought that comes through to your mind, good, bad, or indifferent, write it down in a notebook. Write it down, read it out, and address it as it comes through. It's the best way to start doing it, because then it'll form a habit. If you start doing it now and forcing yourself to do it, in a couple of weeks, it'll just be habit. And you won't need to force yourself, and you'll get rid of a whole lot. It'll be the best thing you ever started. Okay. Damien, I think you, if you're agreeing with Teresa, thank you so much. Joel Nicholas, finally able to see you live. Hi, Joel. Glad you joined in. I'm not sure if you're still here. Any messages for me? Well, it would be good if you wanted to ask a particular question. Otherwise, I would have lots to tell you, But if you had a particular question, if you wanted to jump on in with a question, that would be fantastic. Because generally, I could tell you that there's stuff going on around you that you're struggling to kind of, come to terms with. And there's other people that are kind of throwing things into the mix. But, I'd rather that because that would just take me forever to go through and explain that. But I'd rather you come back to me with a particular question that you feel that you want some direct answers with, right now. So, Joel, if you're still here, please write me a question and I will respond to you ASAP. Write everything on paper, then it's absolutely, Tinker, absolutely. And Tinker, look, correct me if I'm wrong, Tinker, but you would be one of the people that I've known over time that that has so much up here, and with all due respects, I think you learned a while ago that it's so much better if you write it down. And I mean, I do a whole healing process. Part of the main tattoo, or one of the tattoos on my arm, which you can't see, acknowledge, accept, release. That one, that is all about, writing all this crap out of our heads down here. It's a whole healing process, and I won't go through the whole process here. If anyone wants to know that, they can contact me. But part of it is writing a lot of stuff down and bringing up some of the raw emotions that we're keeping in our gut, and we're carrying them around, like burdens all the time. They need to be released, and I'm sure you've done, and I'm 200% sure that you've done a lot of that along your path and along your journey, and you have come a long way from the little Tinkerbell that I got to speak to a long time ago. You've grown leaps and bounds, and I just think it's fantastic. So full credit to you. Donnie, like so many Cooper, it's not even my story. Yeah, and this is part of it. And I think I said to you that you're taking on others, other stuff all the time. You know, life is full of complications. It's how we process them, one at a time. It's when they're all up here, like seriously, guys, when it's all up here, it is just too much. It's too much for anybody. But if you start to write them down and go forward with one at a time, it just feels so much easier. It gives you so much more clarity early in the piece, rather than struggling too long with that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay, 2 major legal battles. Donna, look, you're going through a hell of a time. Like, if you ever want to book in and have a full session with me, please do, because there's probably lots that we could go through, and where I can help you get back on track. That'd be great. Danina, my sweet girl. We keep saying we're sisters. We have to be sisters somewhere along the thing, because we went on a cruise. 2000 into 2019, and there was so much in Danina's life that is so much like mine, whether it was when we were growing up as kids. I mean, we didn't know one another till a couple of years ago, and we just have so many things that are so much alike. It's just insane. So we think we're sisters, and we're going to run with that. And I thank you for being there, my little girl. Yes, Joe, the ghost tour was at Q Station. Like, seriously, we were so ready to go, and we had the room that we're going to do it all in, and we even had chairs, everything set up for a live audience and everything afterwards, and it was just going to be the best thing. And bang, doctor says, when I rang and he says, "Get to the hospital now." I'm like, oh, he never raises his voice. My goodness, what do I need to do? Well, I need to go. So yeah. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Vicky, yes, when you come to Sydney, yes. I love it. I used to love when you used to surprise me in the shop and that. I'm not in the shop anymore, as such, but yeah, happy to sort that out when you come to Sydney, my love. That would be awesome. Okay. Brilliant. When will I meet my soulmate? Okay. I'd probably like to know that about myself too. No, just kidding. Soulmates are really hard to find, more so in this day and age. And I will say, I just want to be a bit general with this one for a moment, in the sense of there is a lot of people in this world, and I'm really hoping that COVID is made people stop and smell the roses. And because what I have found is that there's so many people in this world that are so judgmental, and when the minute somebody is judgmental and forcing judgment upon others, people retreat, and people kind of go into their little shells and say, well, no, I don't want to show the real me anymore, because people will judge me for that, or maybe I shouldn't go out and laugh so loud because people will look at me and judge me for that. I mean, seriously, guys, it's not worth our worry anymore. If we want to go out and have fun, if you have a loud, hearty laugh, well, then good for you. Because you know what? A big, hearty laugh, it heals so much inside when you're doing that. It is something that is actually very special. So embrace it when it comes along. Don't hide the real you anymore. What is the point? What is the point of hiding the real you? There is none. There is none. And Shantani, I think is how you say your name. Please, yell at me if I'm wrong in how I said that. When will you meet your soulmate? The half the answer to that is also too when you start loving yourself a bit more, because you seem to beat yourself up for the smallest of things, and I mean that with the greatest respect. But there's things that, if you don't like something about yourself, and if it's something that you can't change, try and learn to embrace it because it makes you you. If it's something that you can't change, but you keep saying to yourself, oh, well, I don't like my nose, or I don't like my eyes, or I don't have long eyelashes, or whatever the case may be, you know, it's so trivial right now. Learn how to love you, because when you do, and you start going back out into the world, or going back to the marketplace, or going, even traveling on a train, going to where you work, there is a different energy field about you when you love who you are. And it's not about going, oh, I love myself, I've got tickets on my cell phone, because that's just ego rubbish. It's more about liking who you are, and kind of going, do you know what? I'm a pretty special person, or I'm good at this, or I'm, unique at something else. Whatever it is, learn to come back and like who you are, because when you do, the energy shift, that like from your outer energy that changes, people kind of, you walk in, and they're all saying, when you walk into a room, someone lights up a room. Everybody have ever heard of that? It's not always about that person being an absolute stunner, or being like, real skinny mini, and having this, amazing dress on and all this sort of stuff. It is about people walking into a room and being able to get people's attention, because they're walking in with confidence. They're walking in with their head held high, because they like who they are. And when you like who you are and walk into a room, heads will turn, and they turn for the very right reason. People who turn because someone's a size 8 and in this, daredevil type dress, that's a sexual attraction thing. That is far different from people, male and female, being attracted to you for who you are, because it's the energy field that you give off. And believe me when I say that it is real. It's very, very real. And when you have that confidence about you, and you have that love for yourself, the right man's going to come along, and when he does, you're going to knock his socks off, and you're going to know that he is so right for you. Yeah. So I wish you all the luck in the world, and please let me know how you go with that. Okay, Joe, I'm missing your smile. Can I have a reading on retirement? Retirement? Do you really want to retire? No. Thank you for missing my smiling face. It's lovely of you to say. But I feel with you, retirement, as much as you might need a break, I agree that you need a break, because you've had so much go on. So I actually know that you need a break. However, I think retirement, I think that you will get bored. And I say that with respect, because I feel that you will get bored virtually after a couple of months. Yeah. Yeah, to me, I actually don't believe that you're ready for retirement, with all due respect. And if you have to retire for whatever reason, then you do so. But I actually don't think that you'll enjoy it. I actually hear from spirit that you won't, your days won't be fun. Your to me, it's more like, I need a bit of a holiday. None of us have been able to go on holiday as such, but I just don't think you're ready for retirement. If you want to text me and tell me that, you're so ready for retirement, then I'll probably have an argument with you. But an argument with respect, I wouldn't have a crack, because I'm just feeling that you're not ready for it. However, I'm going to sort of say, if that's what you want to do, and that's what you want to do. And if you do want to retire, then I don't actually see you even attempting it till after Christmas. And it's more about you've still got so much to do. Um, spirit is telling me that you're on this illusion path because you think that you're old and you think that you just need a break. So therefore, retirement was the word. Um, but spirit also says that it's your lust for travel. So it's not your lust in life as such. It's your lust for travel that you haven't been able to do that is also forcing your mind to kind of go, do you know what? When things get a little bit better, if I retire, I can catch up on all that. Is that the way you really want to do it? Because I just keep hearing that you're not going to retire because you're going to hate it. So, yeah, please let me know. Please let me know. Because, yeah, I want to have a chat to you about that. I don't want an argument as such, but I just don't believe you're ready for retirement. I think there's so much more you can offer. And with respect, I say you can offer the younger generation. Oh, Spirit just threw the card way out in my face. Because there's plenty more for you to do. Plenty more for you to do. Damien, I'm going to jump to you. Joy, just let me know on that one, please. Wow, you've been going through a rough time. You have some anxiety around you. And I also want to say it's because you feel, please, with respect, I need to touch on this. There seems to be some guilt around someone that you've lost. Please know that please know that what you feel that you should have done would not have made a difference. I hope that makes sense to you. Because no matter what you were thinking of doing, I also hear you didn't get there in time either. But with with those two things mixed, it's like you're now taking on all this guilt and wondering what on earth you did wrong to kind of feel that way. You didn't do anything wrong. This person would have passed regardless, and I mean that with respect. But I also feel with you that not only is a middle-aged person in spirit coming through, there is also a older gentleman who looks upon you as if he's your dad, but I don't want to say it is your dad. But he looks at you as if to say, he even says the words of, son, I'll get you through this, and stop feeling bad about something that you couldn't change, because there's nothing that you could have changed about it. And no matter how much you wanted to, it was certainly not going to change the outcome. So it's time you kind of sat back and said to yourself, I'm actually not guilty of doing anything wrong. My thought process was there, but if you start to accept that what you would have done, just wouldn't have changed anything, you start to feel better within yourself, but start to, I'm just getting a bit choked up, sorry. It's also about starting to embrace the good memories that you have. Instead of taking on this guilt thing all the time, it's about embrace some of the good times, the fun times. And there seems to be also too, with the greatest respect, there seems to be a game that you played with this person, and it was always both of you were kind of trying to outdo one another at the same time all the time. So there was never really a winner, because you're always trying to outdo one another, and that comes through with a lot of fun, with a lot of should I say angst, a lot of I'll use the word compliments back and forth, because there was at times some choice words said, but choice words said in jest. So all I need to say to you really is stop taking on the guilt. Everybody is fine. Everybody is okay. Nobody is in pain. The person that is in pain with it all is yourself. But yeah, you can't walk around and be angry with yourself for not trying, or what you believe is not trying hard enough, because as I said, what you would have done wouldn't have changed a thing, and I say that with the utmost respect, yeah, because it wouldn't have. It really wouldn't have. Do you see the scumbag? Teresa, I wish this was over 2 years ago. Your choice of words is brilliant, although probably too kind for what this person has done. There seems to be, though, what I want to say to you is there seems to be somebody on his side, somebody who keeps listening to these lies. And I know this is not what you want to hear, but it's like the lies have been said so many times that they've got bigger and better. But because he believes he's telling, like he knows these are lies, but he says them and starts to say them as a lie, but he says them so often and to what I want to say is the right people, that he believes his own lies. And when he believes his own lies, he tells that story so bloody well. So people are actually believing in him. And I know that's one thing that you didn't want to hear, but I'm sorry, but that's what Spirit comes through with. Will it be over soon? I want to say to you, there is a smart, and I mean a very smart person that seems to be, and I don't know if it's going to, I don't know if you want it to go this far, but what I see is a very smart person in the High Court. So not your normal courts. It was just, it feels that it is the High Court, and somebody with a bit of nous, and somebody that understands that they need to read between the lines. Somebody of that clout starts reading through all the paperwork, and I mean paperwork, thousands and thousands of bits of paperwork. But somebody with some clout all of a sudden kind of goes, do you know what? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up. And with that person that has the clout that says that, it is that same person who then goes, you know what, I'm going to look at this a little bit deeper. And they do. And what I want to say to you is it gets adjourned. So I'm getting 2 lots of adjournments because somebody wants to take the time to read it. They're not fobbing you off. They want to take the time to read it. But this is still, horrible for me to say, still 16, 18 months away. Way too long that this has been going on. But the person with clout that picks this up and runs with it, that's what I love. I love that part that Spirit is showing me, because that person with clout is then the person who's going to say, do you know what? None of this makes sense. Why the hell has this been going on this long? And why is it in my court? And that person, I feel, will make that ruling. But I don't see that for 16 or 18 months. So I'm sorry that that's still down the track. But what I love is someone with clout's going to look at it. And I think that's the best thing that we can focus on right now with that. Yes? Yeah. Just focus on me. No, don't focus on me. That was a joke. No, focus on yourself, Clarissa. Not me. Focus on yourself. That's all good. Okay. Clarissa Bornia. I listen to all the bullshit and bickering because I'm bored. Then I fight with everyone. I need to get a job ASAP. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Melissa, I want to say to you, your own admission of that you listen to it and you get bored and then you fight with everybody. If you're bored, sorry, Spirit's just jumping in with a few things. I just want to listen to where they're going with it. If you're bored and you don't have that luxury, as I want to call it, of going, back into work as such, then do something else. Find something else to keep you busy. Find I know this is a cliche when I say find a new hobby, but if you find something else that keeps you occupied, but it also gives you some pleasure in doing, then then you don't sit around, your words, listen to all this bullshit and carry on, and then fight with everybody. I mean, what is the point? I mean, fighting with everybody is just going to make everybody angry. It's going to escalate. Some people can say things that they don't actually mean, but you're kind of in the mix of that, embracing that, and almost forcing people to say things that they wouldn't have said, on an everyday basis. So maybe it's time to kind of go, do you know what? You've admitted it right here, right now on a live feed. You've admitted that. So let's do something with that. Let's look at that and go, do you know what? I want to change that, and I want to change that now. So think about what else that you might want to do that will keep you a little bit busy, but will also give you an interest. So whether it's a new craft, a new something, getting involved in, I don't want to say a mother's group, but you know what I mean, like getting involved in a group activity with something. Other things are starting to open up now, so start putting the feelers out and getting yourself involved with something else, and take yourself away from that, because you're internalizing, as much as you say, you're listening, and then you bicker and then you fight, you're internalizing all that. So you're internalizing anger, you're internalizing turmoil, and now it's almost like the subconscious wants to feed off that. So none of that's going to change until you sort of step up and go, wow, I'm sick of all this rubbish. What do I need to take myself out? And then remove yourself out of there. Yeah. Because you need to do something. I mean, that's just becoming a little bit unhealthy. Okay. And I mean everything with the greatest respect. Well, I get to see my older sister within the next 6 months. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You'll be seeing her before Christmas, and I want to say to you, on Christmas as well. So there'll be two visits I see by Christmas. One will be a lot shorter than the other, because it seemed, what I get shown is the first one is like, like a, not necessarily a quick catch up, but you don't have a lot of time to spend a lot of time with her, and neither does she. So, but the best part about it is you do get to see one another, you do get to embrace one another, you do get to catch up, but you just don't get to spend a lot of time before you've got to come back, and then you'll be going off again. The Christmas one I see is a much bigger break, but I also see you in that time. I don't know whether it's got something to do with your sister, because when the second time that you catch up, it seems like you sit down and have a conversation with one another. It seems like that you want some changes to go on in your life with some certain things, and you start talking to her about it. You get some, what I want to say, further clarity and further focus on opening up to your sister about it, because it seems to be that one, cliche when I say one door closes, another one opens, but I have it all in front of me in cards. I have the whole, never can work out this camera. I have it all there. So something has to finish before something else can be started, but it seems to be already now that you're already thinking about doing something else, because you're not getting all the excitement, all the spirits and all the excitement and pleasure, but that's going to come across really weird. But you're not getting that fun activity. I guess I want to say is you're not enjoying everything to its most. So yeah, it's all about you starting to work out what that is, but you on your second visit with your sister end up having a conversation. Yeah. And it's when you have that conversation is when you start embracing that, the change that you actually want, because it's going to be a big change, and you're going to transform, I want to say, 3 different parts of your life. That's going to come out of that. So I'm really excited for that for you. But yes, please let me know how that goes. And thank you, Jenny, for coming in and saying so. Okay. Yes, you did ask for a general, so do I need to make my move out of my current situation sooner? Okay. Let me have a look. Stacey, I want to say to you that because you haven't, how would I say, up until now, I want to say you haven't thought it through full enough. I won't say correctly because that's bad, but there's certain small things that you need to nut out with yourself, so you can safely know that you'll be okay money-wise, stress-wise, all sorts of things if you get out of that situation. I feel that it is the best move for you to make, because I feel that there's a lot of anxiety around it, that you've already got to go through, well, not that you have to, but what I'm suggesting is there's already a healing process that needs to take part, because it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like you've been through a bit of turmoil, and I get sort of like some pain associated with that. And I don't want to say physical pain, but I want to say mental and spiritual pain that's come along with that. And it's like that you've when you've been trying to visualize certain things, you haven't been visualizing it till its full extent. So therefore, you're only asking for like small things, and nothing's happening. So nothing's happening because you're not setting it out to spirit, virtue, and universe in full, is what I see there. But because you take ownership of it, and because you take responsibility in knowing that you need to kind of make that decision, the decision comes easier, if that makes sense to you. Because if you get out of it sooner rather than later, the healing process begins with you, and then you don't go through like a deeper turmoil than what you would normally, because you would understand the process, if that makes sense. So I hope that has helped you, and if not, get in contact with me and we'll go through that a bit better. Okay, this goose is just driving me nuts. Trolls, and a few more trolls, but that's okay. That's okay. Marianne, COVID has definitely interrupted our moving, sold, buying house. Any guidance on this, please? It's funny, because I just love how I was waiting for Spirit to say so much more, because Spirit came in and virtually said, you have to be so much more patient. Things won't happen overnight, and it seems to have been taking a very long time. But then I want to say to you that early in the piece, nobody could come out and view, and you couldn't go out and view what you wanted to buy either. So there was, there's been a bit of topsy-turvy, is the word that Spirit comes through, which is a very old-fashioned word, so that's bizarre. But anyway, it's like that you are now starting to realize that things are lightening up a little bit. Changes are being made. I'm not sure on the real estate side of it whether that sort of thing has changed, or whether everything still has to be via video and stuff like that. But coming into it's not the spring season, like it's not going to happen in spring. It's virtually going to happen towards the end of summer. Oh, I hate that, because that's a little while off. But it's, to me, I'm getting shown like, really hot days that that you're on the hunt for this, and you've got people like, coming through your home and stuff like this. So it's in a climate where it's a hell of a lot warmer, where people are like, all this action is going to take place. So actually, I want to say to you that probably November, December, but December to me wouldn't be great to be selling or buying, because of having Christmas on top of it as well as. But if your family is small and don't have that big Christmas celebration, it might suit you to the ground, because I kind of see it sitting this side of Christmas, that more things start to move both ways. Like both ways, selling, buying, all sorts of things. More things move in that direction, but in warmer weather. And yes, we're in spring, and yes, it was very hot last week, and I think it's going to be very hot next week, but it seems to be hotter than that again. So that's why I'm directed into what I want to call in the midst of summer. But I do see Christmas, so I have to go with that. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. I'll have to try and save it. Oh, thank you, Stella. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your kind words, and I hope you actually get a good night's sleep. Now, I did see that my friend Danina had popped up a question, which I really can't find now, because I've got this hacker in the midst of everything, which I'm trying to delete. It's just driving me nuts. Even though I'm blocking, I think I can see that they're still coming up, which is just so annoying. And Danina asked about her son getting a car and when was that going to happen. Now, in all honesty, I do know that because I'm honest, and I do know that you're looking at one tomorrow. I actually want to say to you that I don't feel it's the right one. I don't get a sense that it's the right one at all. I actually want to say to you that it's probably about 2 weeks off. And I know that won't be exciting for you or for Chris, but because I feel that Chris is really wanting to get out there and get his own. That way he doesn't have to keep asking certain questions. But I don't see it for about another 2 weeks, and I think it's going to be one of those ones that you'll just see at a spur of a moment and go, do you know what, we're going now. Because that's a sensation I get. And I actually get the sensation that it's only about an hour and a half away from you as well. It seems like fairly close by where as soon as you see, you seem to be able to grab Chris and jump in a car, go off and see it. And I think that, you know, I think personally, tomorrow, I mean, you do what you like as such, but I just feel tomorrow is, is not the one. So I feel like it's 2 weeks away, and I feel like, excuse me, I feel like that when you see it in a couple of weeks' time, excuse me, it seems to, you kind of, I think between you and Chris, you know, you're pointing out all the good parts. Chris just wants to get in and go for a ride. You're sort of like, you know, wanting to have a bit of a look over with it. He's getting rather impatient. You have that, you know, mother and son little bit of thing. Then the owner seems to just come by, answer all your questions, has paperwork to back it up, has a logbook to back it up. And I think once that is seen, you are far more comfortable. And I think that one actually goes ahead and proceeds. So I'm kind of more happy with the one in a couple of weeks' time than what I am with tomorrow's, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I hope that helps you, my love. Okay. I think we have 2 trolls, everybody, which is really frustrating. Okay. Now, Lee, beautiful Lee, I know that you asked a question, but this troll has just taken over, and I really can't see your question right now. I know you asked me that ages ago, and I just can't find it. I can't find it. This troll is just everywhere. It's almost like this troll has overridden everyone's comments, and I'm really sorry about that because that's just driving me nuts. Really driving me nuts. Thank you, Anne. Oh, there's 2 trolls now. So I'm really sorry for that. And Lee, if you're still here, can you please jump in with your question again, please? Because this troll is just wiping out a lot of stuff. And because I'm just going down my feed and all I'm getting is the troll shit. Margarita, it means that if you go onto my Mystique Psychic Medium page, you can send me a private message. That's what I meant by that. Sue, I want to come to Sue. Will I ever move close to my family? Just So I don't think that you will actually move that close to your family. I think there will be a move that will take place not yet next year, but I get 2022. But I don't know it. I don't think it will actually bring you to be that close to your family. it will take you closer, but not as close as I think what you would like to do. Okay, that's what I see there. But of course, you have a certainly a choice. But to me, I see that you still move, but it's not as close as you want to be with your family. But it's close enough for you to have like a lot more interactions than what you do right now, and that to me is a really good thing. Now, I also, excuse me, I also see with you that um, happiness. I mean, what does happiness mean to you? Does it mean that you want someone in your life? Does it mean that you just aren't happy with current circumstances and things like that? Because to me, it seems to feel like you have some, with the greatest respect, it's like you have some trust issues, and you don't want to give over your heart too easily because your heart has been squashed before. That's what Spirit is telling me. But I also, in saying that, I also feel that virtually after COVID is a bit more out of the way, and certainly before Christmas, it's almost like that you have a reunion. And I don't want to say it's an old flame, but I want to say with a few old friends. And to me, it's one of those old friends that you have a really great connection with. Now, that person can bring you some joy. Will it complete you and find you the happiness that you're really yearning for? That I'm kind of in two minds about, because that person will bring you joy because you get on with them so well and you seem to gel so well with them, but you're kind of a little bit hesitant because of trust and because of your heart. Now, I want to say to you that if you've known this person for a long time, and to me, if you give your heart, and I don't mean give it over 100%, like straight away, but you will start to feel that you can give more and more of yourself to this person. And when you do, you will start getting a little bit more relaxed. And when you're a little bit more relaxed, the connection just grows. But I do want to say to you that all that process is kind of not going to take place for about 6 or 7 months, more so to the 7 months than the 6. So because I feel with you that it's still going to be a bit of time before it actually even happens, but B, you're a little bit hesitant because of those trust issues. So those sorts of things are kind of stopping you in a way, but then they're your little pull-up things. So if you have a bit of, anyone who has a bit of a trust issue, of course you're not going to give your heart over freely, but you can learn how to acknowledge it. Going, I understand I have some trust issues, but I want to go in with this with an open mind just to see how I feel. Because if I feel good, then you're taking on board the goodness of that feeling rather than going in there going, oh no, I don't trust a soul. Do you know what I mean? And it's not about you going, oh, I'm going to, oh, shit, I have to walk in there and give my trust straight away, because it's not about that. It's about you kind of walking there with an open mind going, you know what? I just want to see how this flows. And when you do, it's just a bit easier than going in there all tensed up, yeah? So I hope that helps you. Anyway, let me know, Sue. Let me know how you go. Oh, Danita, there's your question. I've already answered it. So I hope you're still here. I hope you got that answer. If not, I will chat to you a bit later about it. Oh, Teresa, yeah, give that person a fight, because there's two of them, and they're driving me absolute nuts. And I'm glad Damien's on it as well, because that's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Anyway, Kerry. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you. You always see synchronized numbers. Well, have you looked up those numbers? Doreen Virtue has a good book, Numbers 101, because the double ones or the triple twos, triple fours, things like that, they're all very spiritual, and they're all interconnected. And on a spiritual level, when you see numbers like this, that they all have a separate meaning. So if you get that little book, or Kerry, maybe you would already have that book, given the line of work that you do. Maybe you might already have that book, but when you see them, it's normally a pull up. It's normally like that 5-second pull up where you kind of go, oh, there it is again. So you've got to take note of the actual meaning. So I don't know all the meanings off by heart on this feed. I do have the book somewhere myself. But for instance, if you see like the triple fours all the time, then it's kind of pushing you in a direction of, should I have where I live? Should it have a 4 in that? Has my mobile number got more 4s in it than the other number? Is my if I've got something planned, like a dinner date, maybe I should choose table number 4. All these sorts of things come up when you keep seeing all the synchronized numbers. So if you haven't got that little book, please grab it, because it goes into a great more a detail about what the particular synchronized numbers mean. And I don't have time to go grab it and go through every single one of them, because there's a multitude of all those numbers. But once you do, and once you look it up and get the meaning of it, it kind of gels with what you're going through or what you're thinking of at the time you actually saw it. Yeah. So I hope that's helped you, Kerry. Margarita, have some water. Yes. My voice does go a bit funny. Although sometimes too, when spirit keeps jumping in, my dad normally goes for my throat, and then I end up start talking like I've got a bit of a phone sex voice, which is always quite funny to some. But anyway, it's all good. This is great stuff. Anything out there for me, please? I love your work. Thank you, Bernice. I know you've been one of my fans for a long time, which is lovely to hear and lovely to see. But these bloody trolls. Seriously, I'm going to get really cranky with this shortly. This is putting me out of whack. Driving me nuts. Okay. Bernice, let me have a look at a few things for you. I actually want to say that parts of your life is a little bit unbalanced. The old saying of work-life balance doesn't quite fit with what you actually do, but it is out of whack to a degree that you're not, please, with the greatest respect, you're not honouring who you are to the best advantage of where you should be right now. Spirit tells me that how do I say that? I can't say it any other way. Spirit tells me that you beat yourself up a bit, and kind of you question what you hear and what you feel in your gut. So I always say this quite proudly, that your gut feelings are 99.9% correct every single time. Every single time. So sometimes when our gut feelings show us something where you kind of go, oh my God, that is so out there, I really shouldn't try that, and you go with your head, and it turns out that your gut was right, then you get upset with yourself, see how the pattern goes here, then you're cranky with yourself, then you spend a couple of days feeling cranky, and that's wasted energy, and then you can't think straight because you're too busy getting cranky with yourself. That all stops. If you just start listening to your gut feelings and following them to the full degree, things start to kind of, at first it feels really, really weird, but then like certain things start to fall in place where you kind of go, why didn't I do this sooner? It doesn't matter about doing it sooner. The fact is that you're going to start doing it now, yeah? Because when you understand that your gut feelings are always correct, because the universe throws us these things for certain reasons, and our gut feeling is how we're truly feeling inside. It is our intuition, it's our inner child, it's all sorts of things that you want to say. And sometimes, and I think Spirit's told me to say inner child for a reason, because to me, when your inner child speaks, again with respect, seriously, if you need to have a chat with me later or another day, please do. But to me, when your inner child speaks, sometimes you kind of push her down even further, because you feel that as a child that you weren't heard, so you believe that why should you be heard today? I had to say that as clear as it came through. It just it just comes through that you don't want to listen to your gut too much, because you believe that inner child wasn't heard. So why should you even want to take that on board now, or why does anyone want to hear that now, type thing? You need to do a complete 360 with that, because your gut feeling is trying to tell you something for a reason. It's trying to get you to understand that you are in charge of you, and you're in charge of. When I say you're in charge with your feelings, your feelings can go higgledy-piggledy, but you're the one that makes the choice to say, do you know what? Where do I need to put that particular feeling? Where do I need to put it so I can analyze it, or I can sift through it and work out, you know, how it's affecting me, and it can help me make my decisions. This is where you need to go with this, because there's some decisions that are coming up in your life that need some serious consideration. They're nothing bad, but they're just things that can't be dealt with higgledy-piggledy anymore. There's some decisions there that, you know, you've got to look at it and go, you know, what do I really need to do with that? Why am I seeing it? Why am I not focused enough to just go bang and answer it? It's because you keep questioning yourself. And I want to say to you that as a child, people questioned you way too much all the time. All the time. And it was almost like everything you said, it was someone would say, oh, you know, you're like a walking encyclopedia, so maybe I just don't believe what's going to come out of your mouth anymore. So there was a bit of toing and froing when you were younger. So now when your inner child speaks, or your subconscious, you know, not your subconscious, your gut feeling has coming through with something, you're questioning it each and every time. And I actually want to be a bit harsh with you and say I want that to stop tonight, because it's when you embrace what your inner child is saying, or your gut feeling, even if it's questionable, you still need to take those leaps of faith. When we don't take those leaps of faith that, you know, in our life, we're just missing out on too much. And I just feel that sort of stuff is holding you back. And you know, I want you to give it a crack. I want you to kind of say, do you know what? I've lived my life to this point. It's time I took one of those leaps of faith. It's time that I had a bit of a crack and just see where I end up. Because where you end up is going to be so much more nicer and freer than where you are right now, if that makes sense, okay? There just seems to be too much riding around on you not being heard, you not feeling that, you know, that you're never going to be heard, all that sort of stuff. So I just want you to have a bit of a look at that, and I just I hope that clarifies a few things for you, and I hope you try it. And yeah, any questions, just give me a hoy. Yeah. Okay, let me get past all the trolling again. Hi, Lisa. Yes, feeling lots better. Still not maybe perfect. Well, no one's perfect, but but certainly a lot better than I was. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, Melissa, thank you so much. You are spot on. Sorry I asked for a general reading, then I asked a direct question because you asked us to. Thank you again, by the way. It was my Nonna coming through to you. Okay. Melissa, just embrace her. She's a very beautiful woman with a heart of gold. And you know, I want to say to you that, you know, you take on some of her qualities as well. And you do embrace who she is, but virtually just acknowledge that she's around, because it's when you do that you actually hear her more and you sense her more. And she's at times, I want to say to you that she's a bit of a character as well. Do you know? And she can have that sense of humor, you know, from spirit world. And what I want to say to you though is, you know, stop that bickering stuff and whatever else, and find something else that makes you happy, because, you know, Nona is virtually looking upon you, kind of going, do you know what? You've got so much to choose from and so much vitality and passion in you on a creative level. How about you use it? So, you know, if anything, you know, don't do it for me, don't do it for Nona, like, do it for yourself, because, you know, it will just help you feel a sense of achievement, and not to take on board all that, you know, negativity with bickering and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I hope that helps. Thank you. Absolutely, Joe. I have no doubt. I know if she's been a little bit under the weather and a bit unwell, I don't want you to worry, because things, even at their worst, feel like they're at their worst. But I want to say to you that the worst is not in front of you. It's virtually behind, and being behind means that she'll successfully, get to where she wants to be. She also has to believe in herself as well, and believe, like how to get past some of that. Because if she takes on a negative role, thinking that she's not going to get better, she's actually putting that out to the universe that she doesn't want to, even though she does. It's the way we talk to ourselves that help us through certain situations. And I just feel that with your positivity and her own positivity, there's she understands that there's just so much to actually look forward to. Yeah. Sue, how do I do that, please? Oh, Sue, I've forgotten probably what I even said. Can you inbox me, please? We can go through that. That'd be great. Hello, Mystical Angel, spelled a little bit differently. Bless you. Do I pick up anything with Lisa? Lisa, I actually want to say to you that as much as you feel like you're in a bit of a rut, I feel that there's so much good coming for you, especially with the cards that I've just drawn. There's anxiety stuff and whatever that's going to come to a halt, and because there's so much new going to be offered to you. And look, I have to say, like, Christmas time seems to be the theme as well tonight. It seems to be around Christmas that everything with you seems to be falling into place. Although if you were to look at it now, you'd kind of go, oh, that's not going to happen. But it seems to just fall into place. And when it falls into place, you get kind of handed things to do. And I'm not talking about family. It's on the work front as well. You just seem to get handed a few things to do that you kind of go, wow, I've been waiting for this for a really long time. And when you get them, you embrace them, you run with them, all this sort of stuff. It's just that you have felt like you've been quite stuck, and some of that feeling of being stuck has kind of made you a bit rattled, I want to say. But when you get shown just before Christmas and on Christmas that there is other things out there for you to do, and you kind of get handed things, not necessarily on a silver platter, but you kind of get handed something that you don't expect, and you run with it, and you just kind of go, wow, this is absolutely fabulous. And you've been waiting for this for a long time. And it's at that point, so it's virtually at Christmas, that you're going to say to yourself, well, hey, it's been a crap year, but this is a damn good Christmas present, because it seems to be handed to you, like, around Christmas. So I'm actually excited for that change, because I think you'll embrace it with bells, absolute bells on. So, I think that's fabulous, to be quite honest. So I can't wait till you tell me about that. That's awesome. Okay. I've been told by a local medium that I'll have my baby early, due on January 21st. Do you see the same, please? No, I don't. Chantel, I don't see it coming early at all. There's no reason for Bubs to come early. Spirit tells me that Bubs I love how Spirit is just so basic sometimes. I was just told Bubs will come when Lily said something then. Bubs will come when it's good and ready. You will feel the first week of Christmas. The first week of January, you'll feel movement, and you'll feel like the other medium is right, that Bubs is on its way. But Bubs is just turning. Bubs is just going to have a bit of a field day, and I think that Bubs will turn, and wait for it, because you're probably not going to like this, but I feel Bubs will turn 5 or 6 times in the weeks of January. So if the other person kind of felt all that movement, maybe that was reason for them to say that Bubs would come early. But I don't see Bubs coming early at all, and I just see Bubs making a pretty grand entrance, in a way that's exciting. It's a way that is embracing, and I don't see any complications at all. In fact, what I do see and I really hope that you can tell me this, is that there is just a I don't know if I want to spoil it or not. There is this little smile that is so soon on Bubs's face that everybody is just in awe. Everybody is just in awe, and it's almost like everybody around you just stops and they just look. And the old saying of lighting up a Christmas tree is actually the sensation I get. So I look forward to you telling me that, and I also look forward to you letting me know that Bubs is on track, on track in a good way. I'm not sure I did Clarissa's. I think she didn't have a particular question as such for memory, but if she wants to shoot me one, I'm probably only going to be on here for about another 15 minutes or so. If she wants to shoot me one. Margarita, if he still doesn't put you first, you need to start voicing that out loud. I mean, his work situation, I want to say to you, is really, really important, but that is actually no excuse. But you have to value yourself a lot more for you to kind of say, do you know what? Put that aside. We're doing dinner tonight. Or be home at 5 because we've got to be somewhere at 6. You've got to turn this around and take the bull by the horns. Because the more you've kind of, and I mean this with the greatest respect, the more you've kind of gone, oh, okay, he's still at work. Okay, well, I'll just put dinner in the oven. Oh, okay, he'll eat that when he comes home. Oh, I understand he's tired when he gets home, or all that sort of stuff. Yes, you're understanding, and yes, it's probably been a great part of your marriage that you are so understanding, but it is time, and more so, like, with all the stress that's been involved in COVID and stuff like that, it is your time to kind of go, do you know what? I need you home at 6 for whatever reason, and you'll be home at 6. Or Saturday night, it doesn't matter if you're tired, we're doing this at 7 o'clock. And just make the arrangements. And you know what? This is going to sound really, really awful, and some people might have a crack at me for this, but if you make some arrangements on a Saturday night, say at 7 o'clock, and he says he's too tired, and you've got dressed up, you go. I don't care where it is. You go to a restaurant, you go and order a nice steak and a glass of wine, whatever the case may be. And it is something like that which will make him sit up and notice. And he'll sit there and go, oh, where did she go with it? Why has she gone without me? Why? Because he said he was tired. And you took the bull by the horns and you went yourself. And don't answer the phone. Go and enjoy that steak and that wine and come home when you're ready. Another way of doing it too is that if he's due home, like pick a weeknight and embrace it by you setting up, like a restaurant style, a date night at home where he can't do any work when he gets home because you've set the table and it's like a restaurant. So there's the proper plates, there's all the cutlery, there's a little flower display thing in the middle or whatever. And, you're prepared. And I don't care if you go out and buy it. Or if it gets, home delivered half an hour before he gets home, have a 3-course meal. Have it where you've got an entree, main, and a dessert. Have your date night at home. when excuse me, and when you sit down and have that dinner, there's no talk. There's no talk about work. Talk about normal things. Talk about everyday things. Bring the romance part and the date night back into your world. Trust me, it works. It works. It sounds really crazy, but it works. I have counseled many people on this, and they go, oh, that's a bit silly, that's a bit stupid, and they do it. First of all, the partner says, oh, what have I done wrong? What's this for? Or what do you want? But then when it's introduced on a particular night every single week, both parties end up looking forward to it, and both parties come back to the unity that they were in the first place, because it's creating the right time and the right amount of time to talk about nothing else but what's going on in their own lives. Not work, other everyday things. Please try it, Margarita, and let me know how you go. Because I feel it needs it. I feel it needs it. Try it, Tony. Try it. Spirit said it for a reason. Try it. Try it. Melissa, I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you can let me know. Do you see what is at the heart of all this emotional upset in my life? I'm going up against so many roadblocks because of it. Okay, Ray Louise, I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to throw this out there to you. The reason, what I feel and what I hear from Spirit, why your heart is upset and it kind of controls your life, and on a very important note, is that there is so much that's gone on with you in the past, that where I want to say that most of it, you say you've got through, you've got over it. Yes, you've got through it. You've got through heaps of things. But have you got past all of it? No, you haven't. And I mean that with the greatest respect, and I feel for you, because my heart, my heart hurts with you, and there are certain things that you may not want to talk about, and there's things that you may have buried, thinking, no, I've dealt with it, I don't need to talk about it anymore, or I don't need anyone to help me with it. But those little things that are left behind that maybe you haven't processed completely, they're the little things that have kind of stayed dormant in the bottom of your gut. And then something else happens in life and that goes on top. Something else happens and that goes on top. Something else happens and that goes on top. And everything down the bottom here is buried so deeply that it's still there. And I sense this with all my heart, that there is just some things there that I don't think this is the forum to talk about them, because I think they're quite personal. And if you want to book in and have a full reading, that'd be fantastic, because I feel with you that if we can bring those to the surface and heal those wholly and solely, and I can show you then how some of those remnants have made things in your life repeat. And when certain things in your life keep repeating, it's because the remnants are still there in the bottom of your gut. Do you know what I mean? And it does create a lot of emotional upset, because you feel like at times that you take 20 steps forward and you're thinking, this is fantastic, but then something happens where it reminds you of one of those little remnants that you're carrying, and it throws you straight back there, straight back. And then you feel like you can't take those 20 steps again. Do you know what I mean? So those sorts of things. And I major in past trauma releasing. And when I sense it with somebody, I sense it with all my heart as well, because I'm an empath and I feel it, and I kind of just go, wow, and, I'm always here to help others. And if I can help you any way, shape or form, bring those to the forefront, release them, teach you healing mechanisms, all sorts of things, then you won't have this repeat cycle that goes on in your life. And if something does rear its ugly head, where it's a trigger and it takes you back to there, you can safely do that procedure then yourself. Do you know what I mean? So there are things that have gone on in your heart. Your heart remembers certain things because they're kind of stuck in the bottom of your gut. Yeah. So I really thank you, and I really appreciate you for your message. And yeah, these repeat circles need to stop, because you need to feel freer about taking those 20 steps forward and not having those 30 or 40 steps backwards each and every time. So yeah, so if I can help in any other way, please, yeah, just get in contact with me. That would be wonderful. What do you think? Getting a bigger home. Chantel, look, I with the home situation, like, what I saw was certainly something different. Is it bigger? It probably is to a degree, but I want you to focus on I don't want you to sort of higgledy-piggledy and going backwards and forwards with certain things. I want you to focus on what the main thing is that you want, in your home. Does it need to be bigger? The spirit kind of tells me that, you've got to, when you go home hunting, you walk in a door and you don't just go, oh, fabulous, it's got a pool. Everything else has to be functional. Everything else has to suit you for what you want, because if it doesn't, you'll never, ever be happy there. So it can be twice as big as what you've got now, but if the layout is wrong or it's not as functional as what you want it to be, then it's not going to be your forever home. Do you know what I mean? So in looking, when you get to go searching for homes, have kind of like a bit of a guide. If you say to yourself, I want a double-sized kitchen with at least a massive oven and whatever else. Well, then when you walk into it, if it's not quite the kitchen that you want, have a look at the other things that you've written on. Maybe the bedroom has to have a walk-in wardrobe or something like that, or your kitchen has to have a walk-in pantry. Whatever these little things are, write them down when you go out, because that's how you're going to be comfortable in a bigger home. Like if I say to you, yes, the next home you get is going to be bigger, that's all well and good, but is it bigger in the way you want it? That's the main thing. You've got to put, not me, you've got to put that out there yourself. As for the car, no, I don't see another car coming up, anytime soon, because I think the house is far more important. Okay. Dana, I actually don't feel a man around you in the next few months at all. And look, I actually want to say to you, like I said to someone earlier in the night, in regards to COVID, we're not in a situation where COVID's allowing us to get out and meet, all these different people that we'd like to meet or that we hope to meet. I want to say it that way, because the ones that we hope to meet are certainly. Why was she blocked? Sorry, gone off the path there. Seriously. Sorry, there was just somebody here that's just trolls are just annoying me knowing tonight, and they normally don't bother me, but they keeps, when I see them just going hell for leather on everyone's comment, it just sort of like takes me way off guard where I was going with spirit. So I'm going to come back to you, Donna, and virtually say COVID hasn't been allowing us to enjoy going out, meeting new people, going out to places we enjoy being at, or even in some of the open air spaces, like even at times we none of us were allowed to go to the park and actually sit, which was absolutely ridiculous, because sitting on your own is not going to give someone else COVID. But all these sorts of things play part in you being out and about and actually being able to meet someone in your life. So I actually have to say to you that I don't see a man even in the next 12 months, because I don't even see you going out to places and having a bit of fun till after Christmas. So that puts us in January already, and we've got 3 months after this year. So you've got that 3 months after January, kind of coming into February. So that's 5 or 6 months before you're actually able to even get out and enjoy some places where the possibility of meeting someone is. But what I want to say to you is I don't want you to get a downer on that either, because there's no point getting upset about it, because we can't change that. So we can't get upset about things that we can't change. However, what we can change is how we want to be when we want to put ourselves out there. So if we want to be a better version of ourselves, then we take time to work on ourselves, to be happy with who we are, to embrace who we are, to have fun with ourselves and be able to have fun, full stop. We become that person, because that's who we are. And there's no point hiding our true selves. So when we come to that person and we like ourselves, when it is time for you to get out there, your energy, your respect, your self-worth, everything has grown, everything, you're far more confident with, and therefore the right people are attracted to you. So that's why I say, it's going to be about another 12-month process. And I'm sorry if that timing is out of, your whack. But I have to be serious with it, because it is a serious matter. And we've still got COVID hanging over our heads. So I can't be fickle with anything. Not that I am anyway, because I'm too honest and I have too much integrity for that sort of stuff. But, that's what I see, that's what I hear, and that's what I feel. And I just feel that when you get out there and you're able to, and you're out there with far more confidence and far more about liking yourself, the better energy that you're putting off to attract the better person to you. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. And thank you for your question. Lisa, will I get to the bottom of the issues I'm having after my hip surgery 2 years ago? Can I say something without you getting mad, Lisa? And that saying something is, I know you've probably already done it where you've seen a different surgeon, but I want you to see another one again. So if this will be a third surgeon, then so be it. I feel that there's, with all due respect, there's something in the, I don't know what they call it. I'm trying to get that. So I guess it's the ball. I guess it's the ball joint. So they've replaced that ball into that socket. Oh, I don't even know how to do that. Before it comes down in your leg, I feel there's something in that ball. I feel that that's not maneuvering around too well. It sounds horrible when I say I think that's getting stuck, but I feel like there's not enough fluid around it, or the ball size is incorrect. I know that sounds bad, but that's probably why I want you to go and have a, sorry to say, third opinion, because it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be painful anymore. It should have been fit. Even when I draw cards, I get movement. I get feeling stuck. So I Spirit was showing me that ball inside the socket. It's either a fraction too big. It doesn't seem to be getting the movability, not the movability around that ball. There is something in there that just seems to not be 100% right. And I don't know if that's actually where your pain is stemming from, or whether your pain is stemming further around your back in that hip area, because that seems to be a bit out of whack as well. So I want to even say to you that your hips are a little bit lopsided. And that's not anyone's fault. I actually think that was like that before surgery. This has just made it more prominent because it just seemed one side, and I think it's your right side actually, that seems to just dip a little bit. Therefore, the muscles in the lower back behind your hip seem to have to work a bit harder. And I think that's where some pain is coming as well. I guess you're putting your hand up like, the constant massages and things where, you probably haven't been able to under COVID. But yeah, it just, that's what it feels like to me. So if you want to go get that checked, please do and let me know, because I just feel that, yeah, I think you've answered. No, I'd get the other opinion before I went to see pain management, because to me that's what Spirit was showing me. So I just feel that that area just seems to, to me, the ball, and then the lower back behind the right side of the hip seems to be the part for me that I'll be getting double checked before I went down any pain management side of it, to be quite honest. Hello, Eileen, beautiful lady. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm really worried about my future career. Lost my job. Okay. Lot of people in the same boat losing their job. It's really, really hard. And yeah, I hate COVID for so many reasons. I like part of it where I hope, and I have seen some parts where people have stopped and smelled the roses, in the sense of a lot of high-powered, arrogant people. Their money was useless in COVID, so they had to kind of pull themselves back because we're all in the same boat. So I like that part of COVID. I also like that, you know, nature and our, Mother Earth and all that sort of stuff has been able to regrow in a way that we haven't had for, thousands of years. And I think that's very exciting too. But the horrible side of COVID is that, apart from all the people that were getting sick and the people that were passing away, a lot of businesses closed and a lot of people lost their job, or a lot of people's jobs were just changed, at a drop of a hat. And it kind of left everything up in the air. It left everybody scared, as in paying mortgages or paying their bills and stuff like that. So it's thrown a lot of people in like a few head spins. What I want to say to you is, if you can study something else in the meantime, I know you said you've lost your job. If you can focus on doing something different, just so you have a few backstops to lean on, rather than just one area. I feel with you that you have excelled very well in one area, but I think you need another second or third backstop, so you make yourself a bit more versatile. And I'm not sure where you're from, I'm not sure what country you're from, but if the government's anything like Australian governments, where they've put some, like, free courses at TAFE and stuff like that for anyone who's lost their job. If your country is like that, or if you are in Oz, please check those out, because it seems to be, if you get that second or third thing up your sleeve, that I feel that would be so very, very important and very vital for you, where you can actually then start looking for other work in a few different areas rather than one. Yeah. Because that's just the way, it just seems that's the way it's kind of going with a lot of people. And I know I've just seen another lady here that's jumped in for the first time, Latina Young, from overseas as well. She's another international one from Florida. Same kind of with your work. There's some things in your line of work that you need to have something else up your sleeve. And I think when Latina, when you were growing up, you had a few different ideas on what you wanted to do, and I would say to you, call back on a few of those, to be able to expand yourself in a whole lot more, because so many of us have been affected by COVID. And, like, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to rebuild, but if you have a few different skill sets up your sleeve, you kind of have more of a chance in searching for something else. Do you know what I mean? And I think that you need to do a bit of that as well. What's going on with your love life? I feel that you're putting everybody else first. I feel that you seem to think that you're okay with a lot of things, but how can I say this? When you're in public, you show your face like a mask, like you show everybody that everything's okay all the time. All the time you're happy-go-lucky. Everybody thinks that you're okay all the time, but there's times when you're at home that you're not okay. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but it's the yearning to have someone beside you that understands you to the full capacity of what a relationship should be. And I feel that in the past with you, that people have embraced you and people have loved you, but people have been judgmental. And therefore, that's telling me from spirit that you haven't been loved in a way that I think that you deserve. And I think a few years ago, you thought you found true love, but then that person upset you as well, because I think that person got very, very judgmental as well. And I don't think that's very fair. And I'm sorry that happened to you, but I think you've done a lot of work on yourself, and I'm really pleased about that. But I think that you're yearning for someone to come in and love you in all the right ways. But again, with COVID, it's kind of limited areas. It's limited places to go. It's limited to how we can embrace being out and exploring this sort of thing. So my advice is kind of stick to it, keep working on you, because the right people will come into your life. But in hindsight, I have to be brutally honest and virtually say that's not going to be for about another year, because too much has to go on for certain things to change, for all of us to be able to feel comfortable in embracing others in our life, if you know what I mean. So I hope that's helped you. And please get in touch with me if there's anything further that you need to know. I'm just reading, 8 people, 3-bedroom home. It's not what we need. No. I understand that you need a bigger home for that reason just alone, but there's still different criteria that you need to look for, rather than just grabbing the first one that comes up. Yeah. I just need to virtually jump back into that and say that. Look, I've gone 2.5 hours, and it's a long time for a live feed, and I think there's probably still many questions that I haven't answered, and I'm very, very sorry. Rosa Meta watching too. Okay. Latita Young, thank you, very helpful. Okay. All right, good. Hello. USA. Okay. Career change. Okay. Eileen, I'm just quickly going to say the one he's about to apply for, not the one that he has, the one that he has applied for, is where I'm drawn to on that one. I'm sorry I can't be more detailed than that, because it's, as I said, it's 2.5 hours, and it's about time I kind of got off and had a cup of tea. Okay, Lisa, yes. Second or third opinion, absolutely. So yeah. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. I really, really hope I have helped many of you here tonight. It's been a pleasure coming back after my little spate in the good old hospital. But as I said, yes, the hospital was very, very kind, and I was very, very grateful. I had a fantastic surgeon, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. Except for I really didn't want to go through that pain. But as I said, it is. Thank you, Troy. That's look. That is so very beautiful of you to say. Watching and listening, I'm grateful for that. If you can share it on other pages, even better, where other people might get, grab something from a couple of different readings that resonates with them. That'd be all very good. And it's just asked, when will I be back? Look, I set my mind to do this every Saturday night, from 8 o'clock every Saturday night. I virtually say to myself, I'm going to do 2 hours, but each time I've always gone over, because there's so many of you, that beautiful souls that have jumped on wanting help, and it is fabulous to be able to do that for you. So maximum I would go is probably 2.5 hours, because spirit work is it's not necessarily draining, but it's on lives, it's quick, it's all that sort of stuff. And you do try and help as many people as you can. We do get dry in the throat because we're constantly talking at the same time. And sometimes spirit jumps here, there, and everywhere, with trying to get everybody where I can. So 2.5 hours is probably the max I actually want to do. But yeah, like I said, every Saturday night, 8 p.m. On this, it's you can watch it live from this Mystical Mystique live TV page, or my Mystique Psychic Medium page, or Mystical Mystique is actually on YouTube as well. So anyone can go back and watch anything that I've done, and anything that I have said. because as I said, if I'm reading for one person, it still may help 10 or 20 people going through, something else that they haven't written on here or they haven't watched the live, but they've seen it somewhere else and it helps them in their everyday life. So, I've on these live feeds, I've never asked for any money. I've always done it out of the kindness of my heart because I feel there's so many people that need it. And I'm grateful that I honor where spirit takes me with everything. And it is my passion in my work is my Mystique psychic medium work. If you all want to like and follow my pages, that's fantastic. Share when you want to. And yeah, if anyone ever wants to book in a reading, of course you can have a full reading with me. You don't have to live in Australia. You can live overseas, and we can do excuse me, we can do Zoom meetings, we can do phone readings, we can do all sorts of things. So everything like that is all on my website, so which is www.mystique.net. Everything is there. So as I said, every Saturday 8 p.m. till about 10:30 maximum is where you'll find me. And I truly hope that you all have enjoyed this evening. Divine blessings to you all. I hope you all have a fabulous week ahead. Anyone with any pressing problems, if you need to book in for a short reading or a long reading or whatever, please do so, and I'll help in any way, shape, or form. So again, thank you so very, very much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and God bless. Thank you. Bye for now. You've been wonderful. Bye for now.